People at the airport froze when 15 police dogs suddenly sprinted across the terminal, surrounding a little girl who stood alone near Gate 12. Their powerful bodies formed a tight circle around her, blocking everyone from getting close. Officers rushed in, shouting orders. Passengers started screaming, and cameras began recording. Nobody understood what was happening. Why would elite K-9 units target a small child? The girl looked terrified, clutching a tiny backpack to her chest, her eyes filled with confusion. Security alarms blared. More officers poured in. Rumors spread like fire. Was she carrying something dangerous? Was she running from someone? Or had the dog sent something others couldn't? Moments later, the lead German shepherd sat in front of the girl and let out a deep growl, pointing his nose toward her bag. When officers opened it, what they discovered changed everything, shocking the entire airport. A busy airport on a Monday morning usually carried the same rhythm: rolling suitcases, rushed footsteps, muffled announcements echoing through the high ceilings. But that morning felt different long before the chaos began. People remembered seeing a little girl standing quietly in the corner near Gate 12. She was about 8 years old, wearing a pink jacket and clutching a worn-out backpack, like it held her entire world. Her eyes were strangely calm but deeply sad, as if she had been crying for hours. No adult stood with her. No guardian. No luggage. Just a small backpack pressed against her chest. Officer Daniel, a seasoned K-9 handler, noticed her first. He nudged his partner, a disciplined German shepherd named Rex. "She's alone," Daniel whispered. Rex lifted his head, sniffed the air, and stiffened. The dog's ears shot up, tail frozen, muscles tense. Something was wrong. Daniel felt it instantly. Rex gave a low warning growl. Daniel had never heard Rex growl at a child before. Within seconds, Rex pulled away from his handler, bolting toward the girl. At the exact same moment, other police dogs stationed across the terminal reacted the same way. 15 highly trained dogs, different handlers, different gates, suddenly broke formation and raced toward the little girl. Passengers screamed. Officers shouted. Suitcases toppled over. People ran for cover. But the dogs weren't attacking. They were protecting. Rex reached the girl first. He skidded to a stop right in front of her, then spun around sharply, barking at anyone who came close. The other K-9 units formed a perfect defensive circle, facing outward, tails low, teeth bared, not at the girl, but at everything around her. Daniel's heart pounded. What was happening? He approached slowly. "Sweetheart, don't move," he said gently. The girl didn't answer. She just hugged her backpack tighter. Then Rex pressed his nose against the backpack and barked 3 times. Deep, urgent, commanding. Daniel froze. K-9 units were trained for many signals, but 3 sharp barks meant only one thing: immediate danger concealed in personal belongings. The entire terminal shut down within seconds. Officers surrounded the circle. A bomb squad was summoned. Passengers were evacuated. Panic spread everywhere. Daniel knelt beside the girl. "What's inside your bag?" he asked softly. The girl hesitated. Tears welled up in her eyes. "It's something my mom told me to hide," she whispered. When she finally opened the bag, Daniel saw the object, small, metallic, and frighteningly out of place in a child's hands. He gasped, and in that moment, the truth began to unfold. The moment the backpack unzipped, every officer leaned forward, expecting the worst. But inside, there was no explosive device, no weapon, nothing illegal at first glance. Instead, Daniel spotted a small metal cube wrapped in layers of fabric. It looked harmless, but Rex growled again, louder this time, pushing his nose insistently toward it. Daniel picked it up carefully. The cube was cold. Too cold. Almost unnaturally so. A faint vibration pulsed inside it, followed by a soft beeping sound. Everyone nearby froze. The bomb squad officers signaled Daniel to place it gently on the ground. They scanned it, eyes widening with confusion. "It's not explosive," the lead technician said, "but it's emitting a coded signal." The girl's voice trembled. "Mom said people would come for it, bad people." Daniel knelt beside her. "Where is your mom?" The girl swallowed hard. "She disappeared." She told me to run. She said the dogs would find me before the men did. Daniel's blood ran cold. What men? Before the girl could answer, Rex spun around, barking sharply at the terminal entrance. The other dogs mirrored him instantly, bodies tense, heads low, eyes locked on something approaching from outside. Daniel stood, hand on his holster. A group of 3 men in dark jackets entered the terminal, moving with precision, scanning every corner like they already knew where to go. Their eyes landed on the girl. One of them whispered something into an earpiece. Rex lunged forward, barking fiercely. Passengers tried to flee, but officers held them back. Daniel quickly moved the girl behind him. "Stay with the kid," he shouted to the nearby handlers. The dogs growled, forming a wall between the girl and the strangers. The tallest man raised his hands. "We're here for the device," he said calmly. "It belongs to us." Daniel narrowed his eyes. "Identify yourselves." No answer. Instead, the man smirked. "Let the girl come with us. You don't know what you're dealing with." Rex barked again. 3 quick bursts. The signal for active threat. The dogs surged forward, forcing the men to retreat a few steps. One reached into his jacket. Officers immediately drew their weapons. Hands where I can see them. Daniel yelled. The man slowly revealed not a weapon, but a badge. A government badge. But it wasn't from any department Daniel recognized. "What agency is that?" he demanded. No answer again, only a cold stare. The girl trembled violently. "They're lying," she whispered. "Those aren't the same people who came for my mom, but they want the cube too." Daniel felt the weight of the situation crash over him. This wasn't just a lost child. This was a chase involving something far bigger than airport security. Suddenly, the cube lying on the floor lit up, emitting a faint blue projection swirling upward into the air. Officers gasped. The men in dark jackets stepped back in shock. The projection formed a shape, an encrypted map with coordinates flashing rapidly. The girl whispered. Mom said this would lead to her end to the truth. Daniel knew one thing. Whatever this map pointed to, every agency and every danger was coming for it. The blue projection flickered above the cube, casting a glow across the tense faces surrounding it. The map shifted, expanding, lines and symbols spinning in midair like something pulled from advanced military tech rather than a child's backpack. Daniel stared at it, trying to make sense of the changing coordinates, but the girl stepped forward and whispered, Mom said only I could activate it, because it knows my voice. Daniel gently guided her behind him again. Not now. It's not safe. Rex growled softly, confirming what Daniel already knew. Danger was closing in. The 3 men with unmarked badges slowly advanced, hands raised as if pretending to diffuse the tension. But their eyes gave them away, sharp, calculating, predatory. These weren't ordinary officers. These were trained operatives. And they wanted the girl. The leader spoke calmly. That device is classified intelligence material. The child is in possession of stolen data. We'll take her into protective custody. Daniel didn't flinch. Your badge isn't from any agency listed in federal law enforcement directories, so you're not taking anyone. For the first time, the man's expression changed. A flash of irritation. You don't understand the magnitude of what she's carrying. Rex barked, stepping between Daniel and the strangers, teeth bared. The other dogs followed instantly, forming another barrier, this time tighter, fiercer. The operative sighed. Fine, we'll do it the hard way. He gave a subtle hand signal, and within seconds, more shadows appeared at the terminal entrance. For additional men in tactical gear, moving like ghosts. Passengers screamed. Officers braced themselves. The terminal erupted into chaos again. Daniel quickly lifted the cube and shoved it into his vest pocket. Move the girl, he barked at another officer. Officer Jenna, with her Belgian Malinois, Luna, grabbed the girl's hand. Stay with me, sweetheart. But the girl was shaking uncontrollably. Don't let them take me. Please, they're not the only ones coming. Mom said others wanted too. Daniel's heart clenched. Others. Before she could answer, a loud crash echoed through the terminal. One of the operatives had knocked aside a barrier and was charging toward them. Rex launched forward like a missile. The clash was explosive. Rex tackled the man to the ground. Teeth clamped onto his arm. Two more operatives tried to intervene, but Luna and another German shepherd cut them off, forcing them back. Daniel shouted, "Hold the perimeter!" The officers fired warning shots into the ceiling, scattering civilians and forcing the attackers to retreat temporarily. But it wasn't over, not even close. The cube in Daniel's pocket vibrated violently, like something inside was awakening. He pulled out just enough to see the projection shifting again, this time forming a clear message written in glowing blue symbols. The girl gasped. "That's my mom's handwriting." Daniel stared. "You mean she encoded this?" The girl nodded. "She said the map wouldn't open unless I was close to her. She said the dogs would always know where to lead me." Rex barked, staring toward the far exit, then toward the map, then back to the girl. It was clear the dogs weren't reacting randomly. They already knew the next step. Rex's eyes locked onto the far exit, as if an invisible thread was pulling him toward it. His tail stiffened, his muscles tightened, and he barked sharply, once, twice, 3 times. The entire K-9 unit snapped into formation. They weren't confused. They weren't panicked. They were following something only they could sense. Daniel sensed it too. "They've picked up a trail," he murmured. The little girl grabbed his sleeve. "That's what Mom said. She said the dogs would know where to go when the cube wakes up." The cube vibrated harder, its projection shifting again into a pulsing directional arrow pointing straight toward the exit doors. Not random, not accidental, purposeful. Daniel turned to Jenna. "We move now." Jenna nodded and lifted the girl into her arms. The dogs surrounded them instinctively, forming a moving shield. Officers followed behind, weapons raised, scanning every direction. But they weren't alone. The operatives regrouped quickly. Their leader shouted orders, and the tactical men sprinted after them, weaving through panicked passengers. The terminal shook with running footsteps, echoing like thunder. Daniel yelled, "Go, go, go!" Rex led the charge, sprinting toward the exit. The doors burst open, revealing a wide service corridor normally off-limits to civilians. The fluorescent lights flickered overhead, and the air smelled of fuel and metal. The cube beeped rapidly, guiding them deeper. Suddenly, voices echoed from behind. "They're heading for the runway. Stop them." The operatives were closing in fast. Jenna held the girl close. "Stay calm, sweetheart. We're here." But the girl's eyes widened in terror. "They're not the ones Mom was running from. There's someone else, someone worse." Daniel didn't get the chance to ask who. A loud metallic clang erupted above them. Everyone froze. A ventilation grate fell from the ceiling, followed by a masked man dropping directly into their path, landing silently like a trained acrobat. He didn't speak. He didn't warn them. He simply reached for the girl with lightning speed. But Rex reached him first. With a roar-like bark, Rex lunged, knocking the masked attacker backward. The other dogs surged forward, surrounding the fallen man. Before he could rise, Luna clamped onto his sleeve, dragging him away from the girl. Daniel shouted, "Keep moving!" They ran down the corridor until they burst out onto a restricted area facing the runways. Wind rushed past them. Planes roared in the distance. The cube's projection brightened, pointing toward a private hangar at the far end of the airport. Hangar 7. The girl gasped. "That's where Mom told me to go if anything happened." Daniel locked eyes with her. "Then that's where we're heading." But 2 black SUVs screeched around the corner, blocking their path. Men in dark suits jumped out, different from the operatives before. Heavier gear, more aggressive stances. Weapons drawn. The girl whimpered. "Those are the real ones. The ones who chased us before." Daniel felt Rex press against his leg, ready to fight with everything he had. "You're not taking her." Daniel shouted. The men didn't respond. They simply raised their weapons, and the dogs leapt forward as one unified force. The wind howled across the restricted runway as the black-suited men advanced, their boots crunching against the gravel. Their weapons gleamed under the floodlights. Daniel raised his hands, signaling the K-9 handlers to brace. The dogs crouched low, growling deeply. Rex at the front, muscles trembling with fury. The little girl clung to Jenna, tears streaking her cheeks. "Please don't let them take me. Mom said they'd never stop." Daniel stepped forward, shielding her. "You'll be safe. I promise." But promises meant little against men who didn't fear law or consequence. The leader of the group stepped ahead. His voice was cold. "Hand over the girl and the device. You don't understand what she's carrying." Daniel's grip tightened around the cube. "Then explain it." Instead of answering, the man reached into his coat. "A gun? A badge? A signal?" "No." He pulled out a tablet, its screen glowing with encrypted files. He pressed a button. A woman's face appeared. The girl gasped. "Mom!" Daniel froze. "Your mother is alive?" The man smirked. "For now." The woman on the screen spoke urgently, her voice shaking. "If you're hearing this, it means they found you. Don't trust anyone. The cube contains evidence that exposes a covert program using children to test classified tracking technology. They want it back." Daniel's stomach twisted. "They were using kids?" The woman continued. "I stole the prototype, this cube, because my daughter was next. I hid her, but they found me. Follow the dogs. They're trained on my scent. They will lead you to me to the truth." The screen went black. The leader snapped the tablet shut. "Enough. Give us the child." Before Daniel could respond, a deep, resonant howl echoed across the runway. Rex's signal. The cube vibrated violently in Daniel's hand. Its projection shot upward, brighter than ever, pointing toward Hangar 7. The girl's eyes filled with hope. "She's in there. I know it." The suited men raised their weapons. "Move!" Daniel shouted. Rex and the entire K-9 unit charged forward, not with fear, but with purpose. They surged at the attackers, knocking weapons aside, biting at sleeves, forcing the men backward with overwhelming force. Shots rang out, sparks flying as bullets struck metal crates. Officers returned fire, creating a narrow window. Jenna grabbed the girl's arm. "Run." They sprinted toward Hangar 7, Daniel and Rex leading the way. Inside the hangar, the air was cold and still. A single cargo container sat in the center. The cube's projection locked onto it, like a homing beacon. The girl rushed forward. "Mom!" Daniel forced the container doors open. And there she was, weak, restrained, bruised, but alive. The girl threw herself into her mother's arms, sobbing. Daniel helped untie her. "You're safe now. We've got you." The woman looked at the cube, then at the dogs now filling the hangar, guarding them from the outside threat. "They followed the signal," she whispered, "just like I hoped." Rex walked up to the girl and gently placed his head against her chest. She hugged him tightly, burying her face in his fur. Outside, sirens wailed, reinforcements arriving. The nightmare was ending. The truth was out. And a little girl survived only because 15 loyal police dogs refused to leave her side.